The small town of Harper's Ridge had always been a place of quiet simplicity, where everyone knew each other's name and secrets were hard to keep. But one autumn evening, a chilling event shattered that peace forever. It started with the sudden disappearance of Sarah, a local teacher. No one knew where she had gone, and her absence left a lingering tension in the air. Days passed, and the search for her turned up nothing. That is, until the town's oldest cemetery, nestled just on the edge of the woods, became the scene of a grisly discovery. Sarah's lifeless body was found, hidden beneath a large oak tree. She had been brutally murdered, her face frozen in an expression of pure terror. The authorities were stumped, the small-town police force ill-equipped for the violence that had invaded their community. But it wasn't just the brutality of the crime that made the residents uneasy. It was the fact that there was no clear motive, no signs of robbery, no known enemies. It was as if the killer had chosen her at random. The town was shaken, but then came the letters. They started arriving the next week, at the homes of Sarah's friends, her family, and even the police. Each letter was the same. Typed with an old typewriter, the message was simple, chilling. I'm still here, and I'm not done. The townspeople, already on edge, now felt a collective weight of dread. It was clear they were dealing with a killer who wasn't just a murderer, he was playing with them. The fear crept in, slowly, until it became impossible to ignore. People locked their doors at night, and the police set up patrols, but the killer remained elusive. Months passed with no new killings, but the letters kept coming. The killer seemed to know everything, every private conversation, every weak point in the community. He was always watching, always present, like a shadow in the corners of their lives. Then, one night, Matt, a local journalist who had been covering the case, decided he had had enough of hiding. He wanted to solve the mystery, to understand who the killer was, and most of all, why. He stayed up late researching every detail of the case, retracing Sarah's last steps, looking for any clue that the police might have missed. As he dug deeper into the past of the people in Harper's Ridge, one name kept popping up. Frank, a man with a troubled history who had moved away years ago after a series of incidents. Something didn't sit right with Matt, so he reached out to Frank's old neighbors. What he learned was unsettling. Frank had been obsessed with Sarah years ago, long before her death. He had been a quiet, strange man who had kept to himself, but had often spoken about the perfect life he wanted to create with Sarah, though she had no interest in him. Feeling a sense of urgency, Matt decided to visit Frank's old cabin, deep in the woods outside town, hoping to find answers. As he walked the overgrown path leading to the secluded cabin, he couldn't shake the feeling that someone was following him. The hairs on his neck stood up as he neared the front door, which creaked open on its own, as if inviting him inside. What Matt found inside was horrifying. The walls were lined with photos of Sarah, taken without her knowledge, some of them stretching back to when she was a child. But the most chilling discovery was the journal, open to a page written in red ink. I've been waiting so long. She doesn't know, but she belongs to me. The world doesn't understand the beauty of darkness, but she will. Matt's heart raced as he pieced together the unsettling truth. Frank had never left Harper's Ridge. He had been hiding in plain sight all along, watching, waiting for the right moment. And now, it seemed, his obsession had boiled over into murder. Suddenly, a cold voice interrupted Matt's thoughts. "You should have stayed away, Matt." Matt spun around to find Frank standing in the doorway, his face twisted with madness. The killer had finally revealed himself. In the struggle that followed, Matt barely escaped with his life, running back to town and bringing the authorities to Frank's cabin. But when they arrived, the cabin was empty. Frank was gone, leaving behind only his journal and the lingering scent of death. The town of Harper's Ridge would never be the same. People moved away, leaving only the few who still believed that the killer's shadow hung over them. The letters stopped coming, but the fear never left. No one knew where Frank had gone, or if he would ever return. And so, the legend of the killer in the shadows lived on, a constant reminder that sometimes monsters don't look like monsters at all.